Hello, hi everyone, what's going on my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, we're going to talk about some updates on some of the things that the core experience team has been working on for RuneScape. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go!
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, well this is information coming from the latest live stream. And these are updates that have been revealed way back in RuneFest about half a year ago, and basically this is just to showcase some of the progress made towards those things that were shown off originally back then. Unfortunately, I do not have an ETA on any of these updates, so keep that in mind going forward. This is just to show off how far they've come along since we've seen them in their initial reveal. Alright, so the first thing you're going to notice, or the first thing that they showed off, was the highlighting of interactable NPCs and objects. What you're seeing here is the character run through basically Burthorpe, and as they get close to certain objects or NPCs, you're going to notice, although fairly subtle, a little outline around the objects, the NPCs. You'll notice around the cows there are red glowing auras around them. NPCs have a yellow glow to them. This is basically to help indicate that something you are near can be interacted with. Not only is this just visually useful to anybody, but also new players will be able to differentiate between what can be interacted with and what is simply just environment and just there for aesthetics. Keep in mind, this is something that is toggleable, so if you do not want this, whenever it ends up going live, you do not have to. You can just play RuneScape as you normally would without this highlight feature. In terms of the colors, anything that can be attacked will be highlighted in red. Any NPCs that are not attackable but you can interact with will be highlighted in yellow. And anything else, like things you can pick up, etc., will be highlighted in blue. They did talk about player concerns towards color blindness, and they said they specifically chose these colors because they are able to be differentiated even if you have the various different types of color blindness. They also did go on to say that separate to this particular update, they are pushing towards more colorblind features as a whole for those who are concerned, but it doesn't seem like anything coupled with this particular update seems like some kind of initiative all its own. So we'll see if we hear more about that in the future. You'll also notice, actually, when things are interacted with, not only do they have the highlight around them, but there's a quick flash to indicate that you have clicked on that particular thing, and that'll help you differentiate what you have actually interacted with. You'll know exactly which NPC you may have clicked on, what monster you have attacked, etc. It's also important to note that this highlight feature not only works proximity based, as we're seeing with this display, when you approach something it highlights anything you can interact, but also works on mouse over. So if you are curious about a particular object, you can just obviously mouse over it, and then if it highlights, you'll know if it's interactable, and based on the color, what type of interaction you can do. That said, we're going to shift gears and talk about the next feature, and that is the Canopy cutout. Whenever you're under the canopy of a tree, you're going to be able to see through it and be able to still see your character, so trees will no longer be obstructed in that manner, and you should still be able to go about playing your game as you would without being able to see where you are, what you're doing, etc. This has been slightly changed since the initial reveal, and basically there's a small little circle around your character as to be as least intrusive as possible, but still allowing the functionality of being able to see your character. So you can see it here in various different areas, not just the newer type of trees that really obstruct your area, such as the ones in the Lost Grove, as well as the quest area for the quest with the needle. Now in this current build, it will only work with trees specifically, but they do say that in the future they can extend it to other obstacles that may be obstructing your view. It does use the new feature that they've added with the free cam, where when things get too close to the camera they get faded out. So yeah, not only will this be able to help you see your character through heavily forest areas, we can hopefully look forward to seeing it be used in other parts of the game, maybe with large buildings and other structures. And with that, we're going to talk about the final thing that was revealed from the core experience team, and that is honestly probably the most wanted and highly anticipated, the predictive moving and pathing. What you're seeing on screen is the current movement in the game. When you click, you can see an apparent delay, or an obvious delay rather, That is the time between you choose to do an action and the server being able to understand what action you asked it to do, and that's why there is the delay. So what is going to happen is the game's going to try to predict exactly where you're trying to tell it to move your character, and in doing so, you should experience something that seems like immediate response. So as soon as you click to move your character to a specific area, you should automatically be seeing your character move to that area. The server, however, does not know this yet, and that's why this is a predictive system, which did come with complications in developing it, as you probably would have imagined. If the prediction doesn't get it right and puts you in a place where the server does not register you to be at, that could be a problem as well. But you can see here it's clearly working and much more responsive than current build in the game in terms of clicking somewhere and then getting your character to actually move there. They also did say that they had to play around with the timing of things. For example, when you run up to a tree and chop it, you had to wait around because the server didn't actually know you were there yet. But like I said, they tweaked around with the animation timing to make it more smooth and more seamless, and you're not noticing it happen here in the build because they've corrected that. Now, this does seem like an amazing feature, but unfortunately I do have some bad news with it. While it is something that they can implement and it does seem like they want to, unfortunately, it's not something based on the randomness and the unpredictability of PvM to work in a combat scenario. So if they do implement this in the game, they're asking the community, is it something they really want, knowing full well that it's only going to be available through simply running around or skilling or whatever that may be, and not for PvM scenarios, which is honestly probably the place where it would be most appreciated. But at the very least, you'd still be able to enjoy it to some extent if they do implement it specifically for non-combat situations. I don't know, like I said, that is very unfortunate. I really wish they'd able to figure it out and find a way to make it work with PvM, because as I said, that's the most ideal scenario where this predictive movement system would benefit the player base. Let me know in the comments below what you think about everything showed off in terms of the core experience updates and the progress along. Again, I do not have an ETA on any of these, but this was just to show you how far along they've come since initial reveal several months ago at RuneFest. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap up the video there. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date in all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Aloha.